Hillary's winning anyway.
It's not me. It's not going to be me. Many of you may know my appendix burst 5 weeks ago. So I am sitting on a ladder because I don't want to stand for the 30 minutes I'm going to be talking. That's a joke. That's a joke. Everybody laugh. Many of you know Suzanne Barton. You know her as a gifted photographer. Many of you had your pictures taken by Suzanne. The difference between photography and fine art photography is the difference between night and day. What we are going to show you tonight is the collaboration of Suzanne and I, Studio 19 Fine Art and Suzanne Barton Photography, over the last 7 months. We started with an idea, then we went to test it, then we shot test shoots. What you're going to see tonight, the 2 images you're going to see tonight, were taken from 3,000 underwater images that we took over 6 photo shoots. Wow. The model is here tonight. Raina, step over here for 1 second.
No, I was videotaping you.
If you don't recognize Raina, it's because she has clothes on. You'll know what I mean when you see the picture.
Is she naked?
No, not quite. No, but she is stunning in these pictures. Suzanne and I worked night and day. Almost none of that shows up in a finished product of fine art photography. So lest you think that fine art photography is get a camera, take a picture, print it, frame it, and hang it on the wall, let me give you just a tiny taste of what this took to do. First of all, Suzanne wanted to use her own professional equipment. To do that, you have to buy a waterproof case. We went through 4 waterproof cases. The first 2, and we're smart, we tested them without the camera in them. The first 2 leaked. The third one did not leak in testing, but it leaked during the photo shoot. The fourth one, $1,599 later, finally worked perfectly. So the first 4 shoots, we were underwater, we had to come back up. We were underwater, we had to come back up. We had to drain the camera. She was afraid. On one of them, the camera overheated because the plastic enclosure that was used for overheated her SIM card. So we have been through a lot just to get underwater to take the pictures. Secondly, I was involved in every one of those shoots because Suzanne is so buoyant that I needed to lie on the bottom of the pool and hold her down.
I now have a weight belt that works.
So from photo shoot to image, 3,000 images we went through, looking at each one. You have to look at the lighting, you have to look at the shadowing, you have to look at how much sunlight is reflected off the model's face. You have to look at the background of the pool, whether it's enough where you can clean it up, whether you can blot it out, whether you can do all of the manipulation of that picture, all of that to pick 2 images. From that point, we printed them on paper. You're going to see a couple of the paper images tonight. They were small on paper because Suzanne has to do a color separation. From digital to paper changes the color, so she had to match that. From there, we went to larger, because when you go from smaller to larger, you have to do another color separation. The amount of computer work it takes to get the image from digital to printable is enormous. From there, we printed on a small piece of aluminum. Now, when you go from digital to paper, it takes a different color separation than when you go from digital to aluminum. So we printed on small pieces, we then printed on a little larger. What you're going to see tonight is the finished product, 32 by 48. From the printing on aluminum, we then embellished the background so that you can see the sparkle that comes in the water. From there, they are glazed. It's a poured glaze that takes 48 hours to dry. During that drying process, you have to cover the art so that you don't get dust and dog hair and everything else on it. You cannot have an air conditioner on. From that point, we added crystals for embellishment, and we ended up with these 2 finished products. The 2 that you see hanging on the wall are going to stay at Studio 19. Those are mine. These are artist proofs.
Yeah!
These are artist proofs, which means they have a tiny bit of defect here that we learned and were able to correct later on. What you're going to have tonight, if you want one or both of these images, is you're going to order them, and we are going to go through the creation process again for you. They are stunning, stunning pieces. For many of you, you know you've been in my gallery a lot. I have never carried photography. That's because 9 years ago today, when Cindy and I took ownership of this gallery, this is our anniversary, our 9th anniversary today. From 9 years ago to today, the first 7 years, I had a co-advertising agreement with another gallery, and all he carried was photographic art. And so our agreement was, I will only take paintings if you will only take photographic art. And so that agreement lasted a little over 7.5 years. He closed his gallery last year. And so I had been approached by several artists who do photography, fine art photography. I wanted to choose someone who was exceptional, someone who was special, and also someone that I love. And Suzanne is that person. So, you've heard enough from me. Let's look at some images.
Take it off, take it off.
Take it off! Take it off. Let me get a little help up here, Suzanne.
Take it
Come this way, the short one, the bottom. And we can do it all together.
Okay, but tell me when you're ready.
On your mark. Take them down. Take them off.